Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining me once again for one of these Magic the Gathering box openings in these diary entries. Now, I'm a bit later in getting these things because pricing issues, but now that it's kind of gotten into a price range that I want to do, it's time to get ready for a little bit of Spider-Man. But I guess it's more like Spider-Gwen, and I can't remember what Miles Morales is, if he's technically like Ultimate Spider-Man or whatever his version is called there. But yep, Marvel Spider-Man. I will say, personally, not super keen on getting the set. Like, I understand Spider-Man is the most popular Marvel superhero, but I've never been a huge fan of Spider-Man myself, so it wasn't something that I was super interested in. And then I saw, a lot of other people were saying like some of the cards are not really super powerful there, or that there's some like of the common and uncommon that it's just like pigeon or bagel, and then it's just like I can understand why there's not a whole lot of keen interest in this particular set there if there's not going to be a whole lot of impact like Final Fantasy had with some of the different spaces there. So I do want to get it for collector's sake there, for me being like, oh man, it'd be nice to get the cards to be able to play with them, even if they're not the most powerful, and could still be fun there. I am a bit disappointed that a lot of the future sets, that there's going to be more Universes Beyond sets than there are going to be like regular Magic sets there. I don't think that's really the way to go for this, but I mean, if that's the way that they're gonna go, I mean, we can voice our complaints about it there, but unless they actually hear them, that's how it is. But for now, we are just going to be looking at getting some cool, nifty cards and just seeing what it's going to be. And it's just along those lines of, yeah, this and Avatar, like potentially having the whole like $1,000 price tag, kind of like Final Fantasy. It's like, no, these don't have the same sort of impact that Final Fantasy does. I didn't expect them to be. So I actually ended up waiting for these to go down in price before I actually bought them there. So, I got them at a better deal that I was more comfortable with. Now, I'm not entirely sure. It looks like maybe the back is where things are going to be. Hopefully that, we can start here and it's going to go. So starting off with a little bit of Vibrant Cityscape, a land with tap to sack it, search for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle, kind of like Terramorphic Expanse. Okay. Venomized Cat. 2 in a black, 2/3, symbiote cat villain with death touch. When it ETBs, you mill 2. Starling, aerial ally, 4 in a white. If this is common, I mean, that's the first time that I think that we've seen commons at legendaries. 3/4 legendary human hero with flying. When it ETBs, another target creature you control gets flying until in a turn. Spider Manifestation, like a pretty creepy artwork in and of itself, just like of all of the spiders there. 1 in a hybrid red-green for a 2/2 spider avatar with reach. Tap to add red or green, and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, you untap this creature, so potentially being able to spend more. Oh, another land. It enters tap, taps for 1 or a blue, and 4 and tap, and you can surveil 1. Okay. Prison Break, 4 and a black for a sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And Mayhem, 3 and a black. You can cast it from the graveyard for 3 and a black if you've discarded this turn. Okay, so I will have to be on the lookout for red and blacks that have Mayhems, just because of my Angie Falconwrath deck. You're discarding all the time, so being able to play them there would be nice. So, something to keep in mind for. Prowler, Clawed Thief, 1 a black and a blue for a 2/3 legendary human rogue villain with menace. Whenever another villain you control ETBs, Prowler connives. Okay, I could see this as just being like a low power budget commander there, you know, in like Pauper Commander or something like that. That'd be interesting. Sandman's Quicksand, 1 double black for a sorcery. Mayhem 3 and a black. All creatures get -2/-2 until end turn. If the spell's Mayhem cost was paid, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end turn instead. Okay, so if you discarded and you spend 1 extra mana, then it's one-sided instead. Okay. Raging Goblinoids. Again, like a lot of these, like Sandman and whatnot there, it's nice, but I have like this cat, like this is probably a hero, so people know because it's a legendary creature, but it's like this cat, the spider manifestation, like that, and these Raging Goblinoids, I have no idea what these are. This is like going like super far into the lore that I have no idea what's going on. 4 and a red for a 5/4 Goblin Berserker villain with haste and mayhem, 2 and a red. I guess, you know, you're also playing this from your graveyard. Huh. This doesn't say to exile it afterwards there, so theoretically you could keep on playing the mayhem cost over and over again if you discard. That's going to be something interesting to be mindful of, because if I do discard cards, this could be something that I have on the battlefield to just sack if I need to. Okay. And our lands, which are going to be these spider webs with the different symbols on it there. They're nifty. They're not my favorites by, you know, by anywhere close there. You know, obviously we've got 12 packs of these collectors. We're hoping to get at least one of each of these in there. I don't think that there's a special foil treatment on any of these like there was with, well, I don't, with like Edge of Eternities. That's what it was. So it's just nifty, you know. And our first rare is going to be Multiversal Passage. Rare lands can be pretty good. Land, as this land enters, you choose a basic land type. Then you may pay 2 life. If you don't, this enters tapped. This land is the chosen type. Okay, so mana fixing with a little bit of shockland action. It's a singular basic land type, but you get to choose what it is. Not too bad there. I mean, obviously it's better if you get 2 colors out of it there, but being able to choose what you want is not too shabby. Mysterio, Master of Illusion. 3 and a blue for a 3/3 legendary human villain. With when it ETBs, you create a 3/3 blue illusion villain creature token for each non-token villain you control. Exile those tokens when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. Oh, that's pretty interesting. A lot of just extra tokens if you've got a lot of villains out there. Very interesting. Bioorganic Carapace. Huh. It feels like it should be bio-organic, but it's bioorganic. It feels weird off the tongue. 2 white and a blue for an artifact equipment. Equip 2. When it enters, you attach it to target creature you control. Okay, automatic attachment is good for equipments. Equip the creature gets +2/+2. Has whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card for each modified creature you control. Okay, bringing back modified from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. That's nice there. And we are getting these, what do you call them there? Like the bonus sheet cards here. Thrill of Possibility. I don't know which ones are going to be amazing or whatnot there. If they're all going to be at like the mythic rarity, if they're going to be able to be foil, it'd be nice. But Thrill of Possibility is your classic 1 red instant. As an additional cost to cast it, you discard a card and then you draw 2 there. So that's nice. Ooh, and we're getting a little bit of Symbiote Spider-Man there in his little black outfit. 2 and hybrid blue-black for a 2/4 legendary Symbiote Spider Hero with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you look at that many cards from the top of your library, you put one into your hand and the rest in your graveyard. Okay, so good to mill, and you get a card that you really want. Find new host 2 and blue-black. Exile this card from your graveyard to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains this card's abilities. Activate only as sorcery. Okay, I think that's actually a pretty interesting one there of being able to maintain this ability across multiple creatures even after it dies. Okay, you know, that's pretty nifty. And we've got a little bit of hobgoblin action here. Okay. So again, it's just like a lot of these, I don't know where they come from just because I'm not a super big Spider-Man fan in the first place, but I'm sure there are some people that do, but it's just like, I'm not sure. One and a red for a 2/2, or Angry Rabble, 1 and a red for a 2/2 human citizen with trample. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. 5 and a red, put 2 +1/+1s on this creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Feels like something that you would want to have in like an Agatha deck there, because she would be reducing the cost of the activated abilities. So, you know, potentially be like 1 red, put 2 +1/+1s on it. It doesn't say once a turn, it just says only as a sorcery. Another Starling Aerial ally there. Okay, another spider manifestation. You know, it'd be nice to get to not get multiple of the same commons. Spider Rex Daring Dino. Okay. 4 and double green for a 6/6 legendary spider dinosaur hero with reach, trample, and ward 2. I think I remember seeing this in the like Enter the Spider-Verse one there where they had the T-Rex, the dinosaur. So it's just like, it's there, but it's just like, this is kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure how it would do in like a dinosaur deck, because it's like a Colossal Dreadmaw, but it just has reach and ward 2 in addition to it, and it's a legendary. Rampaging Classmate, 2 and a red for a 3/2 Lizard Berserker. With whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking creature. Now, the thing that I'm wondering is, this has a different symbol, like than this. Did that happen in the previous one as well? No, they were all there. Okay, I don't know what this symbol is for then. I'd have to look it up because that's different. Huh. I'm not sure. Spiders Man Heroic Horde. So is this the Spider-Man that I hear is made up of just like a bunch of tiny spiders, like the whole like 3 kobolds in a trench coat type of deal? 1 in a blue, 2/3 legendary spider hero with web flinging 4 double green. You may cast a spell for 4 double green if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. Why? When this ETBs, if they were cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2/1 green spider creature tokens with reach. I mean, is it worth it to return a creature to your hand to get a 2/3, 2/2/1s, and 3 life for 6 mana? I don't think so. Like, maybe if it was like 4 or something, but it's just like at its current rate, that doesn't seem great. Supportive Parents. I think I saw this one as like a good uncommon there. 2 and a green 3/3 human citizen with tap 2 untapped creatures you control, add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, that's pretty good there. Just being able to make mana of anything that you need just by tapping untapped creatures. That's nice. Damage Control Crew. the people that are cleaning up after the mess of the heroes also get a card, I guess. 3 and a green, 3/3 human citizen. When this ETBs, you choose one, either repair, return target card with mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand, or impound, exile target artifact or enchantment. I mean, it's got, you know, the multiple things. It's all right. It's just, it's a bit on the expensive side. The Daily Bugle Building, a land that can tap for colorless. You can pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Smear Campaign, 1 and tap. Target legendary creature gains menace until end of turn. Okay, that's kind of funny. Like, Spider-Man's the menace. I'm J. Jonah Jameson. Gotta get me pictures of him, Spider-Man type of deal there. That's funny. And we're going to get the forest one there, where it does have probably a bit of Central Park on this one here, where the mountain was like the skyscrapers on fire almost. And another Bioorganic Carapace. You know, the goal of this is to get new cards there, not to get the same ones over and over again there. So, I mean, I guess we got another one there. And, okay. Craven's Last Hunt. For, you know, this interesting looking version of this card here. This saga, you know, I guess it's like a comic book treatment or something like that. Mill 5 cards. So when you play this, you mill 5 cards, and when you do, it deals damage equal to the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard target creature. A little bit of removal. Number 2, target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end turn, and 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Overall, I'm going to say not very impressed. It's like you mill some cards and you take care of a threat there. You give something a little bit extra power in the middle, and then you bring a creature back from your graveyard to your hand. It just doesn't seem that impactful. Okay, a little bit of, it looks like comic book Norman Osborn, maybe. That's what I'm at least guessing this is, because it's got kind of different type of artwork there. It could be just the regular Norman Osborn for all I know. But it just, it like, it has more of this texture, like, see there, and the, like, power and toughness just aren't exactly the same. So that's why I'm thinking, like, oh, you know, this might be an alternate artwork there. But Norman Osborn, 1 and a blue for a legendary human scientist villain 1/1 that can't be blocked. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player he connivs. That's okay. You know, that's not too bad there. 1, a blue, black, and green. Transform Norman Osborn, activate only as a sorcery, and you can also pay that amount to play him as the Green Goblin there, which is going to be a 3/3 legendary goblin human villain with flying and menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast. Goblin formula, each non-land card in your graveyard has mayhem. Mayhem cost is equal to your mana cost. Okay. Very interesting. So you're wanting to pay a lot of, sorry, you're going to be wanting to play a bunch of stuff, including a lot of discard effects there to get your stuff. Huh. I actually find this to be a very interesting card there. I mean, it's something that if I got extra copies of, like, a lot of the cards from Angie Falconwrath feel like they could go into this as well because of the mayhem there. I don't know. It seems like another, this seems like the first, like, super interesting card that we've pulled so far. Like, I could see myself making a deck for this. Maybe not putting it into anything at the moment, but this is just like a really cool and interesting card there. And we're also going to get Hex. Okay, so more comic book art here. If I remember, this is like one of the Sinister Six there. So 4 double black sorcery, destroy 6 target creatures. Okay. And a Cheering Crowd, 1 and hybrid red-green for a 2/2 human citizen with, at the beginning of each player's first main phase, that player may put a +1/+1 on this creature. If they do, they add a generic mana for each counter on it. Okay. So they could get a lot of extra mana if people keep on putting +1/+1 counters on it. If you're somehow able to get... I mean, they could also just be like, yeah, I'll put the counter on it, get a bunch of colorless mana, and then use a bunch of that mana to just kill this so other people don't do anything about it. That's just something about it. But... And get a bit of a robot and the hot dog for food. Okay, well, Norman Osborn was good. Maybe it's the hot dogs. The hot dogs, we're trying to look for a token that gives us the cool cards that's our good luck charm. Maybe the hot dog is gonna be our good luck charm. Oh, here we go. Starting off with our city pigeon there, and that's where you get your hot dogs. Human, citizen, and a treasure. It's an interesting treasure with the Doc Ock arms. Human, citizen, just seeing Spider-Man there. City pigeon, 1 white for a 1/1 bird with flying that when it leaves you create a food token. Okay. Venom, Evil Unleashed. Venom being a common... Are there multiple Venoms? Because Venom at a common seems wrong. Venom is one of the big Spider-Man villains, so having him at common, what's going on here? I guess, Pauper Commander, being able to get some more of these common and uncommon legendary creatures. At least it's new. At least it's not another one of the other one that I got. But 4 and a black, 4/5, legendary symbiote villain with death touch, 2 and a black, exile this from your graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters in target creature gains death touch until end of turn. So probably not a good commander. Daily Bugle Reporters, 3 and a white, 2/3 human citizen. When it enters, choose 1 puff piece. Put a +1/+1 on each of up to 2 target creatures. Investigative journalism, return target creature with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Doc Ock at common. Again, what is up with all of these villains at the common rarity? Doc Ock, Sinister Scientist, 4 and a blue, 4/5, legendary human scientist villain. As long as there are 8 or more cards in your graveyard, Doc Ock has base power and toughness 8/8. As long as you control another villain, they have hexproof there. Okay. At least you can play it as opposed to, Venom. Taxi Driver. Again, I'm not very impressed with a lot of these cards. 1 and a red, 3/1, human pilot, 1 and tap. Target creature gains haste until end of turn. Robotics Mastery, 4 and a blue for an enchantment aura with flash. Enchant creature. When it ETBs, you create 2 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature tokens with flying, and the enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Okay. Prowler Misguided Mentor. So it's a different Prowler than the blue-black one, but this one has this symbol on it there. Is this the starter decks or something like that? That's my only guess. 2 and a green for a 3/3 legendary human rogue villain with it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it can't be chump blocked. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you put a +1/+1 on another target creature you control. Okay. Alien Symbiosis, 1 and a black, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has menace, and is a symbiote in addition to its other types. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other cost. Okay, not too bad. I like its recursion of just being able to give literally anything that you want. 1/1 and menace, kind of getting around the whole oh, it's a 2-for-1 if you get rid of, the creature that it's enchanting. And, it basically has mayhem, just like everything else of being able to get it out. So, it's not terrible, but it's not super amazing. Rhino. The Rhino is a higher rarity than Venom and Doc Ock. What is going on? Like, if there's not a Doc Ock or Venom that are at a higher rarity, this just makes no sense. 3 double red, double green. 6/7 legendary human villain with vigilance, trample, and haste. When it attacks, if you've cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater this turn, you draw a card. Okay. He is a rhino in a china shop. I get it. I get it. Okay, so now we've got 3 of the lands here. This one looks like we're on, I don't know, warehouse or something. I can't really see anything in the background. It's kind of dark. Hide on the ceiling, X and a blue. Instant, exile X target artifacts and or creatures, return them to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, mass flicker. I mean, it's not a flicker, not in that sort of sense there, but it comes back at the end of the turn. It still goes away and comes back. Okay. I like this. I like this because, you know, it can go into a lot of those ones of ETB triggers there and whatnot. It's just, there are better ways, there are better cards that have done this there. I guess you can do it on your opponent's stuff as well to try to remove some of their stuff on the field so they can't do anything with it. So it's a bit more versatile. It's not Norman Osborn level, but it's better than most of the stuff that we've gotten. Friendly Neighborhood. 3 and a white, enchantment aura, enchant land. When at ETBs, you create 3/1/1 green and white human citizen creature tokens. Enchanted land has 1 and tap. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. For each creature you control, activate only as a sorcerer. Okay, if it was just +1/+1, that wouldn't have been great. But, I mean, making it really big for each thing that you have to kind of enforce the whole white weenie type of deal. Okay, you know, this is decent. Spider-Man 2099, okay. I like the blue and the reds. Let's see if this is going to be good there. I don't know if this is like a special variant there, like an alternate art because of all of this spider stuff, kind of like with this symbiote here. So we'll see. Blue and a red for a 2/3. Okay, kind of cheap. So legendary spider human hero from the future. You can't cast them during your first, second, or third turns during the game. Okay, so like Jace Reignited. Double strike and vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, if you've played a land or cast a spell this turn from anywhere other than your hand, it deals damage equal to his power to any target. Okay, so kind of a little bit of, what do you call it there? Kind of a bit of a similar effect to Passionate Archaeologist, except, you know, it could be graveyard, could be deck, could be all of that. It's just like, you have to build around this to either have stuff that you can play from exile or whatnot. Though, good with Norman Osborn. I will say that there. Like, if I do make Norman Osborn, I could see myself putting Spider-Man 2099 in this one here so that when I am doing the mayhem and playing stuff from my graveyard, it works with this one here, and then, you know, have something like Angie Falconroth that's continuously, you know, tapping, discarding, so I can play something there. Okay, you know, not the worst there, but it feels like you need to build more around it. Like, it doesn't just do its thing. Like, there's nothing on here that, I guess, if you've played a land. Okay, so if you've played a land, it works as well. My bad, like, I wasn't looking too close. Okay, it can work off itself. It's better than I thought it was. I will give it that. So far of the Spider-Man we've seen, you know, the one I'm most interested in. And, oh, a foil Beast Within there, so they can come in foil. That's nice. Got a little bit of lizard action, lizard. With your classic 2 and a green, instant, destroy target permanent, its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Very nice, very nice. I'll sleeve that one up there just because it is a foil one of those. I don't know what the price is, but, you know, it's one of these special cards that have a foiling on it there. You know what? Norman Osborn, we're going to give it to you as well. We're going to give you a sleeve as well. I don't know which other cards have some sort of value to them to put away, so, I mean, I'm not going to do anything with those there. Let's see here. So far, 3 packs. We got one last card here, which is going to be Lizard. That's good. That's nice. That's nice. Lizard, Connor's Curse, 2 double green, 5/5 legendary lizard villain with trample, lizard formula. When it ETBs, up to 1 other target creature loses all abilities and becomes a green lizard creature with base power and toughness 4/4. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing on this is that it's not an until the end of turn effect there. It's just 1 other creature loses all abilities and becomes a green lizard creature with base power and toughness 4/4. What I see with this is a good way to get rid of annoying creatures there. Sure, you could put this on one of your own things and you could make like a little 1/1 into a 4/4, but if it has an ability, it doesn't keep the ability. So to me, this is like the whole thing of kind of similar to Oko with turning a creature into a 3/3 elk. It's just this time it's a 4/4 green lizard. So, I mean, honestly, I think that this is a decent removal there. You get a 5/5 trampler for 4 mana, and it has a pseudo removal on it there. I'm kind of digging it there. I don't think it's that bad. I think that it's pretty decent. I'm not sure if I would make a commander with it, but it's another thing that it would be like, oh man, you know, if you could keep on flickering it somehow there and keep on turning your opponent's stuff into 4/4s without abilities, that seems like an interesting way to do things. I mean, even if it's just one time or you recur it from your graveyard somehow, you know, not as interesting as Norman Osborn, but it's still interesting. Okay, another Spider Rex there. We already got one of those guys. A Spider Gwen, another common legendary creature. So Spider Gwen, free spirit. She's the one on the pack. Oh, she's the one on the pack, dude. Oh. 2 in a red, 2/3, legendary spider human hero with reach. When it becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Okay, so this feels like it's good to crew vehicles, saddle, and use for station there, because they don't have flying, they just have reach there. So in order for her to rummage, she needs to become tapped, and if you can't do that by attacking, those are kind of the best options. Amazing Acrobatics, 1 and double blue, instant, choose 1 or both, counter target spell, tap 1 or 2 target creatures. Okay, this feels like a decent common card, where it's a little bit more expensive than Counterspell for the double blue, but you can also tap target creatures, so you can keep them from attacking you there and whatnot, or for generating mana, potentially. I don't know. It just seems like a decent, like, Counterspell edition. News Helicopter, great. Another fantastic new creature. 3 for a 1/1 artifact creature construct with flying. When it ETBs, you create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token. Ominous Asylum. Enters tapped, black and a red, 4 and tap, surveil 1. So very similar to that campus there. It's just, it's an asylum instead. The Mary Janes, another one that has that thing there. That is going to be my guess, is that they are part of like starter decks or something that gives different ones. Because I know there's no commander deck. There's no commander decks in here because, commander decks are the big things that I am looking for. But there's nothing there. So that's my guess. The starter decks. 3 and a red for a 3/3 legendary human bard performer. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature that attacked this turn and has menace. Okay, you attack with 3 creatures and you can play it out for 1 red. I could see that being pretty decent there, a bit on the quicker side. So, yeah, could be used. Shocker Unshakable, 4 and double red for a 5/5 legendary human rogue villain. During your turn, Shocker has first strike, and when Shocker ETBs, deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. Pretty expensive, though. That's the only problem. Sun Spider, Nimble Weber. I have no idea of any of these. 3 and hybrid white-blue for a 3/2 legendary spider human hero. During your turn, it has flying. So this has flying, but Spider Gwen does not. When ETB, search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, put in your hand, and shuffle. Okay, a bit more on the expensive side for 4, but you get any aura or equipment. That could be pretty decent. So, decent, decent uncommon one there. Oh, this is alternate artwork here. Spider, piloted by Penny. I don't know if this is like a... I know that they were going to be putting out some of, the scene cards. This looks like it could be a scene card, if those are in here. 3, a white and a blue for a 4/4 legendary artifact creature that's a spider hero with vigilance. When Spider enters, you put a +1/+1 on target creature. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Okay. Put this into +1/+1 decks there, equipment, enchantments there, potentially draw a bunch of cards if you're attacking in a lot. Okay. Another mountain there with these, okay, so they're not skyscrapers on fire, they're smokestacks. But again, it's really hard to see it there. And we're getting Electro. I had heard from some people that this card might be pretty powerful. Electro, Assaulting Battery, 1 double red for a 2/3 legendary human villain with flying. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you add red. And when it leaves the battlefield, you may pay X. When you do, heal deals X to target player. Okay, yeah. I see why. So he basically has Omnath Locus of Mana effect just in red instead of green. He doesn't get bigger, though, but you get more mana for casting instants and sorceries. And when he leaves, instead of losing all of that mana, you can just pour it in and deal damage to a player. Yeah, I can see why that looks pretty good. We've got Superior Spider-Man. 2, a blue and a black. For a 4/4 legendary spider human hero with Mind Swap. You may have Superior Spider-Man enter as a copy of any creature in a graveyard, except his name is Superior Spider-Man and is a 4/4 spider human hero in addition to his other types when you do exile that card. Okay, so you can either have... So it's a clone effect of an ability that you want. Okay, that's pretty good there. I do recall seeing a video fairly recently where it talked about this, where Superior Spider-Man is Doc Ock after he kills Spider-Man and then become Spider-Man himself, or no. They swap minds. Like Doc Ock is like bedridden and he's dying and he swaps his mind with Peter and then he's just like, actually, like I've changed my ways type of deal. And then Peter dies and then Doc Ock is like, no, I'm going to be like a better version of you because I feel bad or something like that. I don't know. But, the clone effect, getting whatever, ability that you want in your graveyard seems pretty good. I mean, you could pair that up with, the Norman Osborn thing since you're discarding so much. Okay. I recognize this one as a card from the... What do you call them there? The the paneling thing that I said that this one was from, that it looked like this one was from, but maybe this one is just generally an alternate art card because this one looks like it there, but all of the other ones that have had that symbol don't look like they're part of one of those frames there. So, but this one does. SPE. Yes, SPE, so I'm imagining like Spider-Man, something like there, Spider Edition. I have no idea. But, okay, so another, this one I know is from those panels that they're going to do that like all link up together. So you can get other ones in here, but, so I still don't know what that is for, because it's, that the other ones that I've gotten don't deal with that there, but this one does, so maybe they're... I have no idea. Venom, Deadly Devourer 2, a black and a green for a 4/4 legendary symbiote villain with vigilance and menace. 3, exile target creature from a graveyard. When you do, you put X +1/+1s on target symbiote, where X is the exiled card's toughness. Okay. I feel like that you could put this into... I would say a toughness matters deck, but you need to have symbiotes in there as well. I mean, you could just put it on Venom if you wanted to because he is a symbiote. Okay, it just is a thing. Mind Break Trap. Okay. I haven't seen this one for a long time. 2 double blue for an instant trap. If an opponent casts 3 or more spells this turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Exile any number of target spells. So as long as they're on a stack, they're considered a spell. So if they've played a bunch of stuff, you can just exile a whole bunch of stuff there. Okay, pretty nifty one there. Oh, and we got the J. Jonah Jameson. I need them pictures of Spider-Man on my desk by noon or you're fired. The photos are garbage, Parker. I'll buy them all. Great character. 2 and a red for a 2/2 legendary human citizen that when it enters you suspect up to 1 target creature, and whenever a creature you control with menace attacks, you create a treasure token. And you can give something menace with the Daily Bugle building. I see what they are there. The creature with menace is going around doing stuff there, and you make money because you're selling newspapers. I think that this is very good flavor on him there. He'll definitely take that. And a Silk Web Weaver. My guess, probably going to be an uncommon legendary creature. Well, we got the J. Jonah Jameson. That's very nice there. Electro has been nice. The Norman Osborn has been nice. Mind Break Trap. Yeah, got some decent stuff. Another Venomized Cat, where I've got no idea where this is from. Another Amazing Acrobatics. Another News Helicopter. Another Spider-Gwen Free Spirit. Does this set just not have a lot of commons and uncommons? Sinister Hideout there. So maybe it's either just Doc Ock or is it the Sinister 6 there? I can't really tell. Because I see the Doc Ock there. It looks like maybe that's someone, and then there's like this thing up here, but I think it might just be Doc Ock. But blue-black land enters tapped, can pay 4 and tap to surveil 1, just like the other ones there. Oh, the chameleon, the master of disguise. I can be anyone. I even look like Voldemort. 3 and a blue for a 2/3 legendary human shapeshifter villain. Enters as a, you may have it enter as a copy of a creature you control, except its name is Chameleon Master of Disguise. And it's got mayhem for 2 and a blue. Okay. I'm interested there. You know, more mayhem effects, but it's in blue. So, I mean, I can't play it in Angie, but I could play it in Norman Osborn there. So, you know, an interesting one there. Enters as a copy of any creature. So you could do Norman Osborn or reduce the cost by 2. Huh? Yeah. This with Mayhem there with the Green Goblin, you get to play it for 1 blue. That's kind of nice. Like, I'm really digging this Norman Osborn Green Goblin. Like, it's kind of sick there. We'll take that. Rhino's Rampage, hybrid red-green for a sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It fights target creature an opponent controls. When excess damage is dealt to a creature an opponent controls this way, destroy up to 1 target non-creature artifact with mana value 3 or less. Okay, I kind of dig that there. It's a 2-for-1. You increase the power of your creature there. You just remove a creature that your opponent controls, and you make sure it deals the excess damage, so you get to destroy one of their artifacts. Yeah, that's a. This is a pretty darn good, like, uncommon there. Like, I really dig this one. When eventually I start getting like regular booster boxes of this, I want to get some extra copies of that. School Days, 3 double blue for an instant. Choose 1. Do homework to draw 3 cards. Fight crime, counter spell, draw a card. It's a bit expensive there. But it's an instant that lets you draw 3 at a better rate, because generally it's 2 cards for every 2 mana. Sorry, it's generally 1 card for every 2 mana-ish. It's okay. You know, it's a lot of mana to use as a counter spell. Heroes Hangout, 1 red for a sorcery. Choose 1 date night. Exile top 2 cards of your library. Choose 1 of them until end of your next turn. You may play them. Patrol Night, 1 or 2 target creatures each get +1/+0, gained first strike until end of turn. Sorcery. I kind of like this first one, Date Night. I also like that, you know, they're on the building, so it's like we see their perspective, but gravity is like this, so it's just because here's all of the buildings. So it's a nice perspective. However, again, this one and some of the other ones just weird, like, that they're cards. Another forest, so we still don't have an island or plains yet there, but we have doubled up on mountains and forests. And we're doubling up on some more rares. Mysterio, Master of Illusion, getting another one of those, though. I guess it's not the worst. It's okay. Like, again, you need specifically villains for this to work, so if I could have gotten a duplicate, I would have rather have gotten something else. Clone Saga. Okay. 3 and a blue for an enchantment saga. With when it ETBs, you surveil 3. On the first turn afterwards, when you next cast a creature spell this turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. Ooh. 3, choose a card name. Whenever a creature with the chosen name deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card. Okay, so if you've got like a lot of tokens, you could do that there. This is the part that I'm most interested in, is that you get a copy of something that isn't legendary. Okay, I dig this one more than I dig Craven's Last Hunt. Rent is Due. Ah, yes, you know, the big magic card of Rent is Due. 1 white, enchantment, beginning of your end step, you may tap 2 untapped creatures and or treasures you control. If you do, draw a card, otherwise sacrifice this enchantment. Okay. Interesting. It's just like, okay, this is fine there to be able to, draw some cards just for tapping some of your stuff there, especially if it's good if they need to be untapped, like if they've got, I don't know if it was called Inspired or something like that. But if you want things tapped at the beginning of, if you just want things tapped, you get to draw an extra card at the end of turn there. Not a big deal. It's just like rent is due. Like, what are we doing? Parallel Lives. Now there is a good one there. Oh boy. 3 and a green. Enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead. That is a good one there. Oh, yes. We'll absolutely take this. I wish that this one was in foil. It looks like it would be really great in foil with all of the shattered effects there. But even if it's not, I'm still going to take that. Looks like we got an illusion villain, and our big card is going to be a foil of Clone Saga. Now, I'm interested in the ability. It's just like, I want to get different cards. Like, we've gotten 2 Clone Sagas. We've gotten 2 Mysterios. We've gotten 2 of this Bioorganic Carapace there. It's just like, come on. Come on. Well, I guess that's what the illusion villain is going to be there for. We're just going to be getting a whole lot of duplicates of things. At least we got the Parallel Lives. That's a good one there. I have noticed that there has been a little bit of a lack of mythics. Like, I understand that every one of these is technically considered a mythic, but it's like, if we don't consider those, it's like one mythic so far. It's like, I don't know. Here we go. The other one to go along with the pigeon, the bagel and schmear. Gotta get that schmear all over the place. 1 mana for an artifact food with share, 1 white and tap. Sack this artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. You draw a card. Activate only as a sorcery. Or Nosh! 2 and tap. Sack the artifact. You gain 3 life and draw a card there. It replaces itself, but it's just like, what it is, it's not magic. Venom's Hunger, 4 and a black, sorcery. Spell costs 2 less if you control a villain. Destroy target creature. You gain 2 life. Okay, 2 less there. I mean, if you have this in your graveyard in like a Norman Osborn deck there, it costs 2 less to cast because he's a villain already, but then costs another 2 less because of Green Goblin. So it's 1 black then to destroy target creature, and you gain 2 life as long as you discard a card. That's pretty gnarly. Like, I'm really loving this Norman Osborn more and more. Grow extra arms, become more spider-like. 1 and a green for an instant. Spell costs 1 less to cast if it targets a spider. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Okay, if it targets a spider, it's a better giant growth. Okay, it's okay. Selfless Police Captain, 1 and a white, 1/1 human detective, enters with a +1/+1 on it. When this leaves the battlefield, put its +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Okay. So another one that I feel like I could put this into my Tidus deck there, as like another card to potentially put in there because of the +1/+1s, and then when it leaves the battlefield, you put it on another creature, all of its +1/+1s on another creature you control there, and then, have something like with Ozolith and whatnot there. It's just, I don't know, it seems like it could be good. Amateur Hero, 2 and a white, human hero, 3/3. When it ETBs, you gain 2 life. Has that same symbol again there. Okay. Spider UK. Okay, so spiders across the multiverse are dying. I must keep them safe. Okay. I don't get it. 3 and a white, 3/4 legendary spider human hero with web slinging for 2 and a white. beginning of your end step, if 2 or more creatures ETB'd under your control this turn, you draw a card and you gain 2 life. Okay, decent uncommon there, that you get to draw an extra card, you gain a little bit of life if you had 2 creatures ETB. It doesn't have to be non-tokens, so it can be tokens that you put out there. You can do it for its web slinging there. Its web slinging is a bit lower. It's fine. More Mary Janes. We had those ones there. Another Shocker Unshakable. Another Sun Spider Nimblewebber. Again, getting a lot of duplicates. An island. Okay, so it's a view of New York City from the water. Okay. Spectacular Spider-Man. The card that, there's a lot of alternate versions of this one here, but this one is the regular Spectacular Spider-Man. Good old Peter Parker, 1 in white, 3/2, legendary human hero with Flash, that you can pay 1 to give it flying until end of turn, or you can pay 1 to sack it to have all of your creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, which I don't think it's all that bad, because, you can, for 2 mana, flash this in as a blocker. You could, if you pay 1 extra mana for it, you basically have a heroic intervention on a creature there. That's pretty decent. I'll certainly take that. Another Rent is Due, and it's in the exact same spot. It's both the full art and it's full art non-foil again. Illusions. They're all illusions. 3 Clone Sagas. I said that I dig it. I don't dig it this much. Please give me something different. Arachnogenesis. Okay. Is this the first time that this is being reprinted since it was in that one commander deck there? It's another really interesting one. 2 and a green, instant, create X, 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. It is a very good combat trick there. I'll definitely take this. Well, all of my good ones there have been green. Okay, and our big card is going to be Spider-Verse, another mythic finally. And we've got this silk. These are both silk. Okay, so this one of them, that other one, I guess, is the alternate artwork or something like that. I don't know. But Spider-Verse, foil, full art there. 3 double red for an enchantment with legend rule, doesn't apply to spiders you control. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may copy it. If you do, you may choose new targets for the copy. If the copy is a permanent spell, it gains haste. Do this only once each turn. Okay. It's an interesting effect. I'll give you that. It's a very interesting effect. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. Now, I'd like to use it with Norman Osborn because you're casting them from your graveyard, but I don't think a lot of the stuff are going to be spiders. So I'm trying to think where this would be good. With the whole thing that we had with the date night one, where it's like, yes, like exile top 2 cards of your library type of deal. I could see that, but it's just... Actually, you know what? I figured it out. You don't have to use this with just legendary spiders. It's just whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you copy it. So, I want multiple copies of this. I want 1 for Norman Osborn. I want 1 for Angie Falconwrath there, because both of them are casting spells from places that are not your hand. You're casting them from exile, you're casting them from your graveyard there, and you get to copy them. Yeah, I dig this card. I thought that it wasn't great at first. I'm like, but no, it's got its uses. I know where to use it now, and I can use it, so I will. So first half of the packs there, and we've gotten 2 mythics, not including those ones there. We've gotten 3 clone sagas and other ones that we've gotten multiple versions of. Oh, another amazing magic card, the Passenger Ferry. 3 mana for a artifact vehicle with crew 2 for 4/3. When it attacks, you may pay blue. When you do, another target attacking creature, it can't be blocked this turn. I'll have to mention this one off to my friend who likes, what do you call it there? He likes a vehicle deck there. So I feel like he would dig this one here in that deck. Spider-Man No More. 1 in a blue, enchantment or enchant creature. Enchanted creature is a citizen with base power and toughness 1/1. It has Defender and loses all abilities. It's pretty nice there, you know. It's another one of those get rid of bothersome creatures. It's on an enchantment though, but it's basically, again, 2 mana for make this card useless. I like that one there. Spider Islanders, what the hell? 3 in a red, 4/3, Spider Horror Citizen with Mayhem 1 and a red. No. Common Crook. Ah, yes, my favorite magic card, the Common Crook. 1 in a black, 2/2, human rogue villain. When it dies, you create a treasure token. Spider-Man Webslinger. More Spider-Man. 2 in a white, 3/3, legendary spider-human hero with web-slinging 1 white. Okay. You know, I guess this is before he became the spectacular, before he became Spectacular Spider-Man. The Spots Portal. 2 in a black. For an instant, put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. You lose 2 life unless you control a villain. Norman Osborn, anybody? Norman Osborn, anybody? Again, this is 1 black to put a creature on the bottom of its owner's library. It's removal for 1 black. That's not destroy something. It's put on their bottom of their library, so they're probably not going to get it again, and they can't use it in the graveyard there. It's like, oh no, you lose 2 life unless you control a villain. I wonder how I'm playing it. It's like, seems like a pretty good matchup there. Another Prowler, Misguided Mentor, like we talked about. Oh man, we got them pictures from Spider-Man. We got them. We're going to get so much money. Oh man. 2 in a green for an artifact with when this ETBs. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creatures from among them. Put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then you can pay 1 and tap this to sack it to create a treasure token. Okay. It's just kind of one of those ones where, you know, you do your thing and then afterwards it's just an artifact that's out there, but you can get a treasure off of it if you want to. You know, it's basically put 1 mana in to use that mana at a different time there. And another spider piloted by Penny that we had gotten before. And a plains. Okay, so now we're going to be getting the city streets there at dawn. And we've gotten one of every single one of the lands. So we can rest easy knowing that we've got one of each. And our first one there is going to be a Spider-Man 2099, just the regular artwork of it there. So that wasn't a treatment for it there with all of the spider webbing on it there. I don't know. I kind of like this one a bit more. I like the colors on it, but I mean, this one's also foil, so it kind of like pops a little bit more for me. I don't know. I like the artwork on this one a bit more. Rocket-powered Goblin Glider. My rocket-powered Goblin Glider. 3 mana for an artifact equipment. When it ETBs, if it was cast from your graveyard, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, has flying and haste. Equip 2, mayhem 2. And who would have thought it goes very well with Norman Osborn because, or Green Goblin, because if it is in your graveyard, then you play it for free, and then it equips for free there. Give something +2/+0 flying in haste there. I mean, I mean, if you got the Green Goblin now, it means I guess you've got, you're able to do it there. It's already got flying though. I mean, they made it go well, just like they made the Buster Sword go well with one of the clouds there. So, okay. And here we go. Another one of the art cards there from that portrait there, because we see our Venom right there. Green Goblin, the Nemesis. 2 black and green for a 3/3 legendary Goblin human villain with flying. When you discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 on target Goblin you control, and whenever you discard a land, you create a tapped treasure token. Okay. I could see this again as something that could either go, well, I don't see this going into Angie, specifically because it's on target Goblin you control. So I think this would be the only Goblin in there. However, if you do it in a Norman Osborn deck there, you could put it on that Green Goblin or this Green Goblin. There could be other Goblins there. It's just as it is. And we're getting a Doc Ock Armed and Dangerous foil. Okay, this is a Lorthos, the Tidemaker. 5 and triple blue for a legendary octopus 8/8. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, tap up to 8 target permanents. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Okay, interesting. It is foil, so I am going to sleeve it up, but I am going to put it underneath these two here. And Arana, Heart of the Spider there. Okay. Getting one of her, whoever she is. And our big card is going to be another Friendly Neighborhood. Okay, so nothing new on that one there. So we'll move on. Box just seems to have a lot of repeats in it, unfortunately. Because we get more of those Spider Elenders that I don't like. Spider-Man No More. Do like that one. Another Spider-Man Web Slinger. More copies of Common Crook, of Rampaging Classmate. Madame Web, the greatest movie of all time, The Clairvoyant. 4 and double blue for a 4/4 legendary creature mutant advisor. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spider spells and non-creature spells from the top of your library, and whenever you attack, you may mill a card. I mean, movie might have been trash, but as a card, it seems pretty decent. I would actually play this there. I mean, even if you're not playing it in a spider deck, being able to cast the non-creature spells from the top of your library still seems pretty good. Because, I mean, this enchantment is a non-creature spell there. Instant, sorcery, enchantment, artifact, planeswalker, there's a lot of non-creature spells that you can do with that. So I dig that. Costume Closet. 1 and a white artifact, ETBs, with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Tap, move a +1/+1 from this artifact to a target creature you control. Activate only as sorcery. Whenever a modified creature you control leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 on this artifact. Okay, I mean, another one that you could use with Tidus there. Another Spider's Man, Heroic Horde. Ezekiel Sims, Spider Totem. No idea who this is. 4 and a green, 3/5 legendary spider human advisor with reach. Beginning of combat on your turn, target spider you control gets +2/+2 until in a turn. Okay. Another island. Okay, that's good. So plains and swamp are the two that we don't have multiple of. And our first rare is going to be, oh, here we go. This is going to be a mythic there. Again, from who knows where, I don't know. Venom, Eddie Brock. Good that there's another rarity of this here. 4 double black for a 6/4 legendary symbiote villain with menace. Whenever another creature dies, you put a +1/+1 on Venom. If that creature was a villain, draw a card. Yeah, this seems like an intro deck card. Because it's kind of bad. Well, we got another food, so food gave us Norman Osborn before. Now it's given us another mythic here, so And a Carnage Crimson Chaos there. Looks like one of these comic book type of art styles. 2 black and red for a 4/3 legendary symbiote villain with trample. When it ETBs, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Against this creature attacks each combat if able, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, sack it. Mayhem black and red. So you can't reduce its cost with Norman Osborn Green Goblin. But this is another Mayhem that you have there. And I might put this one more in Angie Falconwrath just because I've got there's just so many like mana value 3 or less creatures that are in it there. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that would be a good home for this one here. Because it doesn't need to deal anything with spiders or symbiotes, goblins or whatnot there. It's just 3 mana or less. And even if this goes away, all you need to do is discard a card and you can play it from your graveyard. This seems like a very, very good one there for that. Unfortunately, I think it's a little bit slow in like standard or whatnot there. But overall, I'm digging this one. Okay, like I said, the food is going to be our lucky charm because this is a second mythic. We've got our Poopy Eddie Brock one there, but we got Web of Life and Destiny, 6 and double green, enchantment with Convoke. Beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature from among them on the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Yeah, this one is good. That one is actually good. It's super expensive, but it's got Convoke to bring it down there, you know. And, I mean, if you're playing it in green deck, you're going to have ways of ramping into this there. Put your best creature out among them. If this is not an expensive card, I'd probably buy multiple copies of this just because it's along those lines of, yeah, you know, like, it's just a good card in big green deck. And Counterspell, just good old regular Counterspell there. Doc Ock slapping Spider-Man. That's kind of funny there. That's kind of funny. It does have this orange-yellow border that reminds me of Ether Drift, and I know people might get triggered by that there, but, you know, it's funny. I'm glad that we're getting, like, a bunch of different ones for these, though. That's nice. And Spider-Punk is going to be our big one there with the Spider-Man webbing effect there. So Spider-Punk, 1 and a red for a 2/1 legendary Spider-Human hero with Riot. Other spiders you control have Riot, which I believe is you can either, when you, I think it's when they enter. If they enter, you get to give them the choice of haste or a +1/+1. So, you know, do that with this one. Spells and abilities can't be countered. That's very good in red. Damage can't be prevented. Hey, I mean, like, seems like a pretty decent one to have in, you know, quick format there, like standard, you know, giving all of your spiders Riot. I mean, it fits you into a mold of you're going to be playing a Spider-Man deck, per se. Why don't I... We got the comic book ones there, and we've got this weird one there. I don't think I have... Oh, no. Yep, we do have some of those in here. I think those were the only ones. Sorry, I'm just sorting these out here. Okay. You know, again, this is decent there. We've gotten a few of them alternate arts. Symbiote, Spider-Man 2099. We got the alternate art of the Spectacular Spider-Man. We got the J. Jonah Jameson, Spider-Punk, Electro, and, you know, some of these other things here. You know, as things went on, it got a bit more decent. I don't know if this is going to pay for itself, but, I mean, at least it's fine. Mysterio's Phantasm, 1 and a blue, 1/3 illusion villain, flying vigilance. When it attacks, mill card. Okay. Hot Dog Cart. Yay. 3 mana for an artifact with when it ETBs, create a food token, and you can tap this to add 1 mana of any color there. Okay. Mana Rock. Professional wrestler. Yes, the amazing professional wrestler from Spider-Man. I'm shaking my head. 3 and a green, 4/4, human warrior performer. When it ETBs, you create a treasure token. This can't be blocked by more than one creature. Web up, 2 and a white, enchantment. When it ETBs, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. So it's a Oblivion Ring. Risky Research, 2 and a black, sorcery, surveil 2, then draw 2, then you lose 2 life. It's not too bad there for a little bit of card draw on that. Spider-Man Noir, good old Nicolas Cage here. 4 and a black, 4/4, legendary Spider-Human hero with menace. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, put a +1/+1 counter on it, then surveil X, where X is the number of counters on it. Because, he works alone, doesn't work with other people there. That's just how it happens. I know I've got a bad a Nicolas Cage impression, but I'm just trying to act a bit like the Spider-Man Noir. So, interesting. The Wall Crawl, 3 and a green for an enchantment. When it ETBs, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Then you gain 1 life for each spider you control. Spiders you control get +1/+1, can't be blocked by creatures with defender. Okay, so it feels like this is a decent one to have in a spider-themed deck. A little bit of spider tribal. We'll get that. Spider-Girl, Legacy Hero. 2 and a white, 2/2, legendary Spider-Human hero. During your turn, it has flying. When she leaves the battlefield, you create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token. So, again, why does Spider-Gwen only have reach and not flying when a lot of these other ones either have flying on your turn, can grant themselves flying with mana? I don't understand. Ooh, okay, so there are just some alternate artworks, but it feels like this one might be in kind of like a picture frame, like with Spider, piloted by Penny, there, but just maybe they have their own as these alternate arts. But I dig it there. I dig the alternate arts on those. I'm wondering if all of them had alternate arts there and I just wasn't. That one wasn't. Okay, so they're not guaranteed. It's just like there's a chance for it. Okay. Get a little bit of a forest action there. So, still looking for an extra swamp and an extra plains. And we're going to get, here we go. Another mythic. So we're finally getting our mythics there. It's just first half of the box. We didn't really get anything. Now we're getting Spider-Verse, Web of Life and Destiny, Eddie Brock. So number 5 there. So we're getting close. Peter Parker, 1 and a white for a legendary human scientist hero. That when it ETBs, you create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. And then transform Peter Parker, activate only as a sorcery for 1, a green, a white, or a blue, or you can play him as a 1 green, white, and blue to create the Amazing Spider-Man, which is going to be a 4/4 legendary spider-human hero with vigilance and reach. Doesn't have flying, again, weird. But big things that I see is that as a 4/4, it is able to block Green Goblin and beat it, though Norman Osborn is able to interact with Peter Parker and defeat him there. And this has reach, so it can block the flying of Green Goblin. This has vigilance. Each legendary spell you cast that's 1 or more colors has web slinging green, white, and blue. So if you have a legendary spell, not legendary creature, so if you have legendary artifacts, legendary enchantment, their legendary saga, planeswalkers, there are, the legendary sorceries and instance as well. I think it might just be legendary sorceries, but it's like to be able to cast them for potentially cheaper, you have to have all 3 colors. but returning a tapped creature you control to its hand to potentially be able to activate another one of your things. I think it's another decent one there. Not quite as impactful as I think Norman Osborn is, but a decent one there. I'm glad that I got it, and it is new, so I'm liking that. And we're also going to get a Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, who is in our good old 3 clone sagas. I guess it makes sense to have so many clones. In the alternate artwork with the webbing, 1 a red and a green for a 4/3 legendary spider-human hero with web slinging, red and green, trample, sensational save. If you cast it using web slinging, they enter with X +1/+1 counters on them, where X is the mana value of the return creature. I mean, so on its own, it's just a 4/3 trampler for 3, which isn't all that special. However, if you do return something that is that has a big mana value, that unfortunately you cannot play him with Peter Parker there because there's no red in there, but it would be great to then be like, yes, then I'll just web sling something else out with that there. But yeah, the bigger thing that you return, the bigger that this comes in, and it has trample there. If you're able to give him haste or something to be able to go, I mean, he could be a problem. Agent Venom, never heard of him. 2 and a black, 2/3 legendary symbiote soldier hero. A lot of them have this like 2/3, 3/2 action, have like a lot of 3 in it there. It just feels like that 2 to 4 is where a lot of this is ending up being. Has flash, has menace. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card and you lose a life there. Okay, a little bit of extra Phyrexian Arena just on non-token creatures. Not too shabby. Oh, Comeuppance. That's another nifty one there, and I like it with the spot here. 3 and a white, instant, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn by sources you don't control. If damage from a creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to that creature. If damage from a non-creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to the source's controller. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting one there. So as long as they don't have a prevent damage thing there, yeah, it's just an interesting one. I'm glad that they're all of the same rarity, so that unlike the, I will say, that's probably the best thing about this one so far that I see, is that all of these are the same rarity, and they have the same chance of getting each of them there. Whereas with the Final Fantasy ones, it's like, yes, you've got Brainstorm, which is an uncommon one, but then you've also got rares and mythic ones, and it's just like, to get the mythic ones, it was just so difficult there. I think I might have gotten 1 mythic of these bonus sheet cards from the Final Fantasy one. It's just like, oh man. And our big card after that Comeuppance there, which was a good one, is going to be an Iron Spider Stark upgrade. Okay, so, this is based off of kind of that one there. I don't know if this is also in the comics as well, but an interesting one here because it's colorless, so it can go into a lot of different decks. Iron Spider Stark upgrade 3 for a 2/3 legendary artifact creature spider hero with vigilance. Tap to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature and or vehicle you control. Each artifact creature and vehicle. That's a lot. Pay 2, remove 2 +1/+1s from among artifacts you control to draw a card. Yeah, this is a pretty decent one there. I dig this one. I feel like this could be, I mean, obviously you could put it in a spider deck, but it's not really doing anything in there. But, artifact creatures and vehicles. Yeah, seems pretty good. Oh, get one of those for my friend there that likes the vehicle deck there. That's going to go good for him. He's going to like that. He's going to like that. The guy in the chair. Really. 2 and a green, 2/3, human advisor, tap to add 1 mana of any color, web support, 2 and a green, tap, put a +1/+1 on target spider, activate only as a sorcery. Eerie Gravestone, with him coming back to life after Craven murdered him. 2 mana for an artifact with when this ETBs, you draw a card, and you can pay 1 and a black, sack this creature, mill 4 cards, and then you may put a creature from among them into your hand. Okay, you know, a lot of mill if you want to there. Oscorp Research Team, 3 and a blue, 1/5 human scientist, 6 and a blue, draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's a common card. Another Angry Rabble, another Sinister Hideout. We didn't even get all of these lands here. Hobgoblin. Okay, we saw this one before. Hobgoblin, Mantled Marauder. 1 in a red, 1/2 legendary goblin human villain with flying and haste. Whenever you discard a card, Hobgoblin gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So I can see that you want to put it there. It is whenever you discard a card there, though. If you discard multiple cards, you can get pretty big. Huh. Angie Falconwrath. Yeah. Discarding a lot of cards, make this really big, be able to swing in really hard with flying. Okay, yep. Another Madam Web. I think that this one here, like I said, pretty good, and it's a little expensive, but in Commander, I think it could be pretty good there. I am glad that I got multiple of this. Another Costume Closet. Don't really feel need for that. Spider Bite. Web Warden. Is this like part of 2099 stuff? 2 and a blue for a 2/2 legendary spider avatar hero. When it ETBs, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Meh. Another planes, okay. A third rent is due. The clones. So more of rent of due. I guess, you know, like, it's decent in a lot of white decks there, especially if you got a lot of creatures, so I guess I can put them in there. Another Agent Venom, so, you know, we get more of that of, you know, non-token creatures dying, drawing extra cards there, okay? 3 repeats there. Am I just, like, is there just not enough cards in these or something? Friendly Neighborhood. Terminate. At least we keep on getting new ones of these. Black and red for an instant. Destroy target creature. Can't be regenerated. Has Carnage there along with Spider-Man. You know, pretty decent. Okay, Black Cat, Cunning Thief, and the alternate artwork there. 3 double black for a 2/3 legendary human rogue villain. 5 for a 2/3. Please have a good ability. When it ETBs, look at the top 9 cards of target opponent's library. Get it? 9 lives. Exile 2 of them face down. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. You may play the exiled cards for as long as they remain. Exiled mana of any type can be spent to cast them. Thank you for being good. Thank you for being good. And we've got this Spider-Woman Stunning Savior probably in this comic book artwork there. Oh, this Black Cat is actually pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Find a way to sacrifice it there, flicker it, return it to your hand, or something there, like, you know, web slinging was something there. But, I mean, if you're able to sack it, I mean, you could put it in with Norman Osborn there. You know, again, pay it for 2 less there when you're discarding your stuff, and it's 1 double black for the 2/3, and you get, you know, the 2 cards. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I mean, Black Cat in and of it herself is a very beautiful she's not a superhero, she's more, is she a villain? She's kind of just neutral. I don't know. But yeah, I really dig the card. I'm glad I got the alternate artwork of it there. Another Eerie Gravestone, an Oscorp Research Team, Guy in the Chair, Vibrant Cityscape. Twisted Spider Clone. 3 in a green, 4/4 Spider Human. ETBs, put a +1/+1 on each creature you control with +1/+1 on it. Okay. Another thought for Tidus, potentially, but maybe not. Flying Octobot, 1 in a blue, 1/1, artifact creature robot villain with flying. Whenever another villain you control ETBs, put a +1/+1 on this creature. It activates only once each turn. I mean, there's going to be a lot of villains, and bringing them back with Mayhem. Norman Osborn. Maybe. Lila, holographic assistant. 3 in a blue, 2/2, legendary artifact creature illusion advisor. Whenever you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Okay. I mean, if you're drawing a lot of cards, make them big, I guess. Web Warriors. Spider Pig, Gwen, the Indian Spider-Man, and I can't really tell what the other two are. 4 and green-white hybrid for a 4/3 spider hero that when it ETBs, you put a +1/+1 on each other creature you control. Okay. Regular artwork there of Spider piloted by Penny there. Always good to get the multiple artworks. We got the multiple artworks of now, both artworks of Penny as well as Spider Noir. Second Swamp. Okay, so we got at least 2 of each of the lands. That's nice. Another Superior Spider-Man, another Doc Ock in the Spider-Man costume there, being the blue-black version of him. Exile the card. So, I mean, it's blue and black, so it could go into, you know, the Norman Osborn deck there. Just want, you know, be careful about which one you remove because you can't bring it back with Mayhem. Spot Living Portal from the comic book artwork there. Okay. 3 white and black for a 4/4 legendary human scientist villain. When it ETBs, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent and up to 1 target non-land permanent from a graveyard. Okay, so 1 on the field and 1 in the graveyard. You exile each of them there. When the spot dies, put him on the bottom of his owner's library. If you do, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands. Okay, so you could do this to remove threats on your opponent's field. You could do this to try to recur things back to your hand. You know, there's a couple of possibilities. Not the most exciting there, but, you know, it's there. And it's a new card. Grasping Tentacles also from our stuff here. Not sure where it'll fit into the picture though. Grasping Tentacles, 1, a blue and a black for a sorcery. Target opponent mills 8 cards. You may put an artifact card from that player's graveyard on the battlefield under your control. That seems pretty decent there. Another one where it's like, yeah, this is kind of along with Black Cat Cunning Thief of like playing your opponent's type of cards there. So, you know, you could play this in pirate decks, Xanathar there. I mean, you could do it in Norman Osborn if you want to, because, again, if you discard a card and you play this, you can play this again. Again, the cards doesn't say that they exile on Mayhem there. They just stay in your graveyard. Oh, man. That is a sick one. Oh, man. It's food, so it is good stuff there. Reanimate there. Oh, that is nice. Him coming back to life after the Craven the Hunter incident there. We didn't have that as one of these. No, like it was on a different one there. And it's foil. Like, that is nice. 1 black for a sorcery. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to that card's mana value. So good. So good. That might be the best one so far of these there. That is so good. Sorry, Parallel Lives. I'm putting Reanimate there. Can our our hot dog bring about another good card here? Nope, just another hide on the ceiling. Okay, we got the reanimate though. That was a really nice one though. But you know, another hide on the ceiling there. Full art there. Unfortunately, getting a lot of clone stuff, but that's just as it is with some of these. Going into our final pack though, hoping for a little bit of luck and a little bit of shock. Okay, you know. Another version of that one there with the shocker. Makes sense. Steel Wrecking Ball. Oh, sorry. Shock. 1 red for an instant deals 2 damage to any target. Steel Wrecking Ball. 5 mana for an artifact. When it ETBs, deals 5 damage to target creature. Pay 1 and a green. Discard it to destroy target artifact. Okay. So you can either play it for 5 onto the battlefield as an artifact. It deals 5 damage to a creature and then does nothing. Or you can pay 2 mana to discard it from your hand to destroy target artifact. I mean, you could do it with the Norman Osborn to be like, yeah, you know, discard this card to destroy the artifact, and now you can play your stuff from your graveyard. You know, it's an option. Beetle, Legacy Criminal, 3 and a blue, 3/3, legendary human rogue villain with flying. 1 and a blue, exile it from your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains flying until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. Okay. Mob Lookout, 1 blue, 1 and a hybrid blue-black for a 0/3 creature with human that is a human rogue villain. When it ETBs, target creature you control connives. Okay. Spider-Man Brooklyn Visionary. Well, this is the Miles Morales one. 4 and a green for a 4/3 legendary spider-human hero with web slinging. 2 and a green. When it ETBs, search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So a little bit of mana ramp there, but it's even worse than Gwen. It doesn't have reach, but it also doesn't have flying. More supportive parents there, you know, will certainly take some of that there. And that's always nice to get more of. Now we've got 2 supportive parents. Nice. More damage control crew, another Daily Bugle building, another Spider UK, and another island there, because islands are kind of nice with it. And we're going to get Silk. Okay, so we got one of the Silks that we saw on the art cards. 2 a green and a white, 3/5 legendary human spider human hero with web slinging. 1 a green and white, so 1 less. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token. Okay, so if you get those tapped, you could return those for the web slinging. And 3 a green and a white, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn there. I mean, Spider-Man, you know, she's green and white. This is green, white, and blue, so you could play it in this deck if you wanted to. It's fine, you know. When you casting creature spells, you get additional stuff there. That's fine. And a 3rd Bioorganic Carapace. So this is the 3rd one that we got 3 copies of. That cloning is so annoying there. I hope if we open up another one of these that we don't get 3 of the same thing. Mr. Negative, okay. Finishing off with another mythic there. That's very nice. 5 a white and a black for a 5/5 legendary human villain with vigilance and lifelink. Dark Force Inversion. When it ETBs, you may exchange life totals with target opponent. If you lost life this turn, draw that many cards. That is interesting there. And you can gain it back up with the lifelink there. Okay, so you could try to get yourself a bit lower. No, you could try to get your opponent a bit lower. Try to slam this down, be able to draw a bunch of cards, and then maybe try to finish them off or something like that. I dig it. I dig it. It's a nice one there. Oh, that's nice. The copy is a is of the like Spider-Man pointing at each other meme there. That's nice. Oh, so it looks like we've got Shock again there. It's just another version of it with the comic book covers there. Okay, that's nice. And our final one is going to be, oh, a comic book Peter Parker, but not like this comic book here. Okay, so another Peter Parker, but we're going to be getting him this way. Interesting. Okay, so, alternate versions I don't mind getting there. Oh, now that's a nice one there. Huh. And they've got the Fantastic Four on the back here. Yeah. I mean, I dig the art on this here, of the classic. I don't know if it's technically supposed to be in here because, I mean, none of these have symbols there, but hey, it's another, getting that one there is nice, getting the alternate artworks there because, again, when you're getting the normal packs, it's harder to get the alternate artwork, so being able to get those is kind of nice with it there. We ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so a little more than half of the packs had a mythic in them, and, we got some pretty nice ones here, there. I mean, the Reanimate is great, the Parallelize, Arachnogenesis, Comeuppance. These two are fine as well. They were just foil for us. Shock, Terminate, Counterspell, Mindbreak Trap is decent. I got Hex and Thrill of Possibility. Got some of those cards from the artwork thingamabob. I just don't know where each of them would be. Maybe this one goes here or something. I am not sure because I'm trying to line that up there and it feels like that, but it feels like it's too far that way. I don't know where Spider-Man is supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be here. It definitely doesn't look like it's supposed to be here. Could be here. Yeah, that's what it is. I figured it out. I've figured it out. It's like this because we see the little Venom tentacle there. Because it's like the Spider-Man leg is there, so Spider-Man should be like here or something, and maybe Doc Ock is here, and then I think this is supposed to be like a goblin grenade or something. But nope, we got those ones there. Again, like the big unfortunate thing is getting 3 Clone Sagas. Carnage looks nice. I mean, Clone Saga still looks nice. There, it's just I didn't want to get so many of that. Carnage looks nice. Black Cat looks really nice there. We got 3 of these bioorganic Carapace. We got multiple of these Hide on the Ceilings and Spear Spider-Man. We got 3 Friendly Neighborhoods, multiple Agent Venom. We got 3 Rent is Due there. We got multiple versions of some of the other things, but like different versions, a couple copies of Mysterio there. But we did get an Electro, which was nice there. Again, I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man. So it's like this stuff isn't the most exciting for me. There were some cards that I'm thinking of where I want to put them in. A lot of these comic book arts are really nice. I like, and then Black Cat was nice. Norman Osborn, Peter Parker, Web of Life and Destiny there. The other one, there's Spider-Verse, Mr. Negative. Yeah, I mean, not the most exciting thing, but I'm still looking forward to playing with some of them. So thank you for putting up with my rants and my making fun of some of these cards here because, I mean, it really feels like this set is really breaking away from Magic there. And it's not my most exciting thing. If they make cool cards, sure, but I would prefer more of a Magic-centric thing and then have maybe some of these sprinkled in. Like, I reminisce about 4 different boxes, 4 packs dropping, and, there might be one special set there, like the Masters sets there or the Horizon sets there. And I don't know, it feels like I kind of wish it was more like that of, like 4 main sets there and maybe 2 Universe Beyond or something like that there, but it feels like there's so much there that there's a little bit of burnout that feels like ends up happening with so much product that's coming out. But thank you for joining me on this one, though. I hope that you have a lot of luck with whatever you are up to. I hope you'll come back again for another one there. Until you do, please take care of yourself. I hope that you have a wonderful day.